Alright, Diablo 4 Spiritborn players, maybe it's now time to log back in and create a Spiritborn, because as of right now, Spiritborn is the #1 build with this brand new discovery, which may or may not involve in some sort of multiple double dippings, but it has recently, as of today, cleared a 150 in the fastest time, which used to be held by the Necromancer. Now, there are several different variants of the same sort of build, so even if that one gets nerfed, there's another one they're going to have to play whack-a-mole over here with this setup. Now, what's interesting with this, and I'll give you guys kind of a brief little build guide as well here, and there's a lot of different ways that you can play it, to be honest here, but I'm going to be highlighting the one that actually hit rank 1. But pretty much what it comes down to is you are utilizing one of the new Witchcraft powers that has the ability to execute once you reach a certain threshold, and because you can do crazy amounts of damage with the Jaguar Spirit Hull, well, you're going to get a lot of damage that can just kind of be applied, and you're going to hit for crazy amounts of damage. But you can see the builds basically have the same concept. Again, it's mainly the Witchcraft power that is the offender here with its crazy ability. Now, what I found most interesting with this is that there's other builds that take advantage of this newer discovery, which has to do with a damage over time. And more than likely, it's giving some sort of like negative damage numbers. Now, will this be fixed? I don't know. But I'm just giving you guys the info, as a lot of people have been messaging me on Discord saying, yo, have you seen this new build? Because anytime where something's doing crazy things, I like sharing it with you guys. But I know a lot of people would want a build guide because they're like, dude, my Spiritborn build has been struggling. And so maybe you can try this out to see if it is for you. Now, I also want to say, take this video with a grain of salt, as it could get nerfed. They did actually recently nerf the Druid's overpower damage that could scale indefinitely. However, it still remains to be the best build. So even if, let's say, this build gets nerfed, I mean, there really wasn't anything that was crazy with Spiritborn. So this is more likely going to be the new build. And it has to do with a few different things here. Now, there are two builds that I'll kind of go over, but I want to go ahead and mainly highlight the one that is rank 1 as right now by Kirky Boy. But I also want to mention, I really think that this item is a must in the build, and it wasn't in the rank 1 build. You know, sometimes when there's a newer build that comes out, there's a lot of different things that people are swapping in and out. But the reason why I think that this thing is pretty good is it has this ability towards the bottom on its unique power of Midday Hunt, where it says, while you have any ferocity, your poison effects deal their damage across 33% of the normal duration. So it's dealing more damage over a faster duration. Now, there's also something as far as the skill tree goes, because this ties into kind of like the build guide over here. And that has to do with getting as much crit as possible. And you are utilizing Noxious Resonance. So what it does is, even though normally with a damage over time build, you normally wouldn't be building into crit. But with Noxious Resonance as a key passive, your critical strikes cause your poisoning on an enemy to burst, dealing 100% of the damage instantly. And then also 20% of it to surrounding enemies before removing the poison effect from the primary target. So technically, it won't really feel like a really slow like dot build, because normally that's kind of how it works. But if you do crit with it, then you don't have to wait for the damage. So I'm not sure how this is going to apply, but more likely there's some sort of like crazy double, quadruple dipping. More likely it has to do with running Hunter as well as the Jaguar, which does all that damage in that set duration. Since you can pull all the enemies, everything's going to be popping. That's what you're seeing in the gameplay here. But let's go over a real rough draft over here for the build. And if there's any nerfs or updates, I will update you guys. But more likely it'll see some sort of numerical change where it may not go into like what this guy posted over here, which is like the negative damage numbers. But again, I want to give you guys this so you guys have something to play with. And again, it could still be the best build even after it gets updated. So first off, let's go over the skills. Now, there's a lot of different things that you can play, but the thing with Russian Claw is it does tag the enemy 2 times. So what that would allow you to do is if you like hit an enemy, there's a lot of these things on the Paragon board and or on the glyphs that take damage and then they slowly start to ramp up. So Russian Claw could be a good choice here. That's pretty much, you're going to be spamming all of the abilities. The reason why is because, well, you get other bonuses when you activate them via the runes. So it's not like oh, you have to time a certain thing, you have to snapshot something. You just kind of push the buttons. Ideally, use Russian Claw to go ahead and go a little faster though. But as far as the skills go, we're running Toxic Skin, Armor Hide, Counterattack, the Hunter, Russian Claw, as well as Scourge. For the primary spirit, you are running Jaguar. There have been other variants of this. I've seen use Centipede as well because it does that amount of poison damage over a duration. Again, if it then stacks up, I'm not sure how the crit will register. Maybe it can go even crazier. Like I said, I really feel like this has a lot of potential with the build. It's in its early iteration, so more than likely we'll get like more finite details like within the next couple days, unless it gets completely deleted out of the game. But Centipede over here could be another thing to consider. In fact, another one was actually running Eagle. I think that this build is probably so OP that you can probably play a lot of different things. And then as far as the secondary spirit, we have Gorilla in this version. Now, as far as the items go, you do want to try to get a Harlequin. Now, keep in mind, you may not have to get everything perfect for the build to run. It's just that with more cooldowns, you're able to spam the skills. Therefore, you're activating your runes. That's kind of the key thing over here. It's not like, oh, I need to keep this thing up 100% of the time. Basically, activating this, giving you Apogek, will be a big upgrade because, well, it gives you your ultimate damage gets increased over here. But we are running Harlequin over there, and then Shroud of False Death, and then Unyielding Hits. So when we use a Gorilla skill, it's going to increase our like weapon damage based off of our armor. And then we are also running, also one thing that's really important is anywhere that you can, get critical strike damage. Get that masterwork, get that greater affix. That's kind of the key thing that you want in this build, as it does tie into how you're going to be able to deal most of your damage. And then we have Temporal Incisions over here. This is going to maintain your incarnate skill effects, which will have a longer duration. Then we have Binding Morass. This thing has been seen many times before because you're able to go ahead and slow the enemies, and then you get to do more damage. And then Redirected Force, another thing that is very familiar in the Spiritborn builds. It just gives you more critical strike damage equal to your block, and you're going to get lots of block in the build. There is a implicit that you do want to try to hit on certain like the weapon types. Factor that in, get the one that's going to give you the extra block chance. I believe that is the, was it the quarterstaff in the game? And then Apprehension over here. So this one, once an enemy is slowed, they get to be feared, and then you get to deal more damage, just numerical. Again, crit any areas that you can get it. And then Apogek Fury. So again, your ultimate is going to increase your stats here. And then you have Conceited because you're going to be gaining a barrier, because you also get a lot of other things with like a Vicious Shield on the Paragon board. And then for the runes, we're running Yul Cry, Moni Tizik, and then the Witchcraft powers, the Doom Orb. And then the main things that are like the crazy OP things are Decay Augmentation. So it's going to make it so the Witchcraft effects deal the damage over 5 seconds. And then the damage type is based on your class. And then at rank 10, you get that Execution. And then also that Aura of Siphoning. We get that Aura, and it's going to deal some poison damage to the enemies. And at rank 10, you also get to heal. And then we have Soul Harvest, just like in every single build. Then Purging Touch over here. So they get to increase damage to head rotten, but it's going to increase it to everything. And then we also have Shaken Soul over here. So the damage from growth and decay effects will also apply vulnerability. So it will give you that free vulnerability. Now, another thing that's important is you want both these in the armor because you want as much crit as possible. So you want to put an Emerald in your two-handed. And then Emeralds where you can because it stacks. And then we have Toadling's Wish, which makes it so your non-unique growth and decay powers get extra 35% potency. Friend of the Bog over here, so you get some extra primary stat, which will give you some more damage. And then this one over here is pretty important. The Voice of the Stars, while you have an aura active, your ultimate skills gain the Grimoire tag, so you get all of the bonuses if it says like Grimoire, right? And then on top of that, you get some more damage. So pretty much that's how you're getting some crazy amounts of damage. Now that we went over that, let's go over the skill tree. Like I said, there's kind of different variants to play with some of these builds. So at the very beginning, honestly, it really doesn't matter. You're just putting in points so you can get to the next thing. Like, you don't even need this. You just need to put points into anything here. Because you don't spend resource, it does not matter over here. Again, put it into whatever you want. You don't even use it. You just need to put, again, a total of 6 points to progress into the next section of the skill tree over here. And then just getting all the normal stuff that you would want, basically more damage, getting some damage reduction over here. And again, we got some Toxic Skin over here, and then you have that ability to get the increased poison. That's the most important thing. It increases the thorns damage you deal to poison enemies too, right? Okay, I had to double check on that. So in the MOBA planner, this one's actually set up to be backwards. So in game, it's going to be the one on the left side, but it is this one that you actually take. That's why I was like, hold on. You actually want this one because it says, while Toxic Skin is active, you deal additional 36% poison damage as crit strikes to nearby vulnerable poison enemies every second. This is something that you do want, but in game, it is the left side. It's just flip-flopped on this. And if it gets updated, again, just remember, that's the one you actually want over here. Okay, anyways, next up, pretty much the same stuff that you've seen before in the Spiritborn builds, which is, yeah, you want all of this resolve, and you also want to get concussive stomp, because that is part of the thing that activates. Basically, you're getting the ability to suck everything in and then get the stomp that's going to give you a bunch of shields. That's why you want to run the enhanced concussive stomp, but you don't actually equip it on your bar. It just automatically activates. And then we're also running the counter attack over here, and then basically it's just used for that critical strike damage over there. And then enhanced scourge just to get even more damage. And then we're also getting this nourishment that's going to give you extra whenever you heal, you get increased poison damage. And that's what this build is all about. And then we can also get extra maximum life when you use the gorilla skill, and then potent over here, so hitting enemies is going to increase the damage they take from you. And then we're getting all of this extra poison stats for basically it's centipede, but kind of related to it. And then we also want to make it so when we cast a ultimate, we're going to get increased damage to elites, and it gets to be doubled if we're fighting one enemy. That's how you're going to destroy the boss. And then this is going to give us extra stats, but we really don't need it for that as far as like the resources, because we don't spend resources, and this is all like CDR based. And then supremacy, any enemies you kill while the ultimate is active is going to give you a stack, and then you're just getting even more damage. You want to max this out because this is our big source of our damage, because it's going to hit a bunch of different times, and you can activate it multiple times too, because when it kills something, you're going to be able to reset it. And since in this newer season, a lot of the bonuses come from getting more ranks into it. It might not show here, but with Harlequin and all the bonus ranks, it will factor in. And we already talked about this, which is Noxious Resonance. So lastly over here, as far as the Paragon board, this is what it is looking like. So the starter board is going to be Bane. Then we're going to be moving up into the second one, which is going to be Vicious Shield and Spirit. And then we're going to move on to the third board, which is going to be Convergence and Fitness. So Convergence and Fitness, which is going to give us the ability to get more crit damage. That's a very, very common theme that you'll see in this. It's all basically just crit. And then we're moving on to the fourth one, which is the Bitter Medicine and Fester. And then we also have Revealing and Hone. Again, it has to all with critical strike damage, and basically what's giving us the big bonus is up on the skill tree, which is this, the key passive here. And that's why you want as much crit when you are tempering on your pieces of gear. If you can masterwork them, again, that'd be ideal, but it's probably going into so much damage that you probably don't even need anywhere near perfect pieces of gear to get this running. And keep in mind, there's going to be a lot of other builds that emerge off of this, so who knows, if this gets nerfed, there's probably going to be another variant, and I'll update you guys on it. But again, once again, credit to Kirky Boy for this discovery. Just wanted to go ahead and make it here, because I'm going to use the Mobalytics inlay, like, cause there's an app for it, and you can use the app, and it just makes things nicer. So I'll give it to you guys over here, and it'll also be linked down below. But again, shoutouts and credits to him for this discovery, and I'll probably end up trying it. We'll see if they end up nerfing it, how bad the nerf is as well, because I was a fan of Spiritborn last season, and it was super OP, and this season, maybe it's going to be the best build again for the season. Spiritborn is going to be the top tier class. They even said it on the live stream though, that Spiritborn was going to be maybe one of the strongest classes, and maybe they secretly knew, but I don't know. Like I said, I'll update you guys if there's things to get updated. But there was an update actually today. The cleansing pyres do work again, so this was a newer update, which is awesome. And they also have stability improvements, so if you're getting those black screens, hopefully that will be fixed. But again, this is mainly a video for the build. But again, you can see that there's actually several different variants of it. You can see there's even like bat powers on this other version. This was another 150 cleared, by the way. It's just this one was second place, and obviously if I'm titling the video first place, it's got to be the first place. But I think that you could still run a lot of different things, and you know, shout out to this other player over here playing Fell Soothsayers. This is another really crazy thing. There's still redirected force. That is like a crazy thing. And then also Fist of Fate will give you that chance to do random damage, but I really don't think that matters that much, because, well, it's just going to be more of the poison. I'm not sure actually how that would apply on some of like the way that like the crit works and stuff, because you're converting the crit to basically give you all the damage instantly. But you can see this version of the build, just so you guys have like kind of two different variants to look at. This is the main thing though, okay? It's the hunter, it's this, and it's all like the poison stuff, and it's mainly, again, the siphoning. There you have it. There's like kind of two different like variants and versions to look at, and have some fun with it, guys. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn that bell, and I'll update you guys if things do change with this build. But yeah, you can play it with an evade, you can play it with a lot of different skills. At the end of the day, it's just like run these and you'll be dominating content. Anyways, take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, and check the pin for the link in the build, and also the source.